Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is a bit of an on-the-fly review for House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 4. Now, I've neglected doing any reviews for the series so far. I covered the entire first series, and my plan, rather foolishly, was to do a series overall review, because there's a lot out at the minute and, time and all that. To be fair, that was an absolute tragic mistake, because I've got to say, this latest episode 4, is up there with one of the best hours of TV I've seen in a long time. It's immediately a 10 out of 10 episode. I have to say that right off the bat. There's no qualms about it. Everything from the top down, from the performances to the direction, the cinematography, the special effects, the action, the dialogue, the writing. It's top tier. It's absolutely top tier in every single aspect. This is like what the final season of Game of Thrones should have been. It should have been this level of quality, detail, pacing, intense character-driven drama that gives you the ultimate payoff, takes its time to build up this intensity, this gnawing sense of impending war that nobody can avoid. They're all resigned to the fact that this war is happening, regardless of what anybody wants to do really within themselves. It's a war of egos. It's a war of foolishness, and everyone is going to suffer. There's going to be no clear victory. There's going to be a Pyrrhic victory throughout where everybody suffers massive losses on an equal scale. And this episode encompasses all of that. There is no resounding victor in this episode whatsoever. I'm not going to spoil too much, to be quite honest with you, because I think everybody needs to watch this episode and just see the grand spectacle unfold. But suffice to say, everything comes to a head. As we've seen thus far, Rhaenyra returns from her attempt to sort of convince Alicent that this war is foolish and they need to find peace, and it doesn't happen. And Rhaenyra is like, well, this is it. We're going to have to go for it, aren't we? And there's a major battle at Rook's Rest, and it culminates in dragon on dragon carnage. I mean, it's everything you would want to see. The level of detail, I think, is what's astounding in this episode more than anything. The detailing, they don't spare any expense in terms of the detailing of the battle itself. The dragons, they look imposing, they look impressive. It's cinematic brilliance at its finest. This is something you would expect to see on a big budget action movie, on a big budget fantasy movie, like Lord of the Rings, anything like that. This is what you would expect to see in this, not in a singular hour of television. And I know Game of Thrones had great episodes and great action sequences, Battle of the Bastards, etc. But this is up there in terms of visual spectacle. But it's not just the visual spectacle. Underneath is preparation, scheming, cunning, and I'm talking about the writing, I'm talking about the level of direction, cinematography. It's all been built and prepared for a monumental moment like this. We've sat through the schemes and the plotting of the characters. We've sat through the political intensity, the pondering, the worries of individuals right across the realm. And the universe itself, struggles still with terms of placement, times, and how long it takes for people to journey across. I think they've given up attempting to really cover that, to be fair. But just fundamentally, the fundamental basics of setting up decent characters, incredible characters, fluid, full stories, and then to give you this intense punch of just absolute, utter chaos. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And this is what, midway through the season, and we're getting an episode like this. Bloody Nora. Yeah, I don't know much about the book that it's based on, to be quite honest. I've not read it. I've not managed to get into it. Game of Thrones itself left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Big fan of the books. Not a fan at all of the final season. I think a lot of people, were of that opinion. I think it was rushed. I think it was badly done, to be quite honest with you. After they'd set up such a good story, after they set up such brilliant characters, they just rushed it through so they could move on to a different project. And look how that turned out for them. They created some nonsense garbage sci-fi show on Netflix that I just don't give a flying crap about, to be honest with you. And then they lost their Star Wars projects. Well done, Benioff and Weiss. Congratulations. I hope it was worth it. But this is back to basics. It's back to basics, character-driven, fully fledged story written right the way through. All these characters are deeply interesting. All these characters have flaws, dreams, and wishes, and this war is just decimating all of it. And of course, we have a couple of major losses in this. I think one of the characters is potentially going to come back. Like I said, I don't know anything about the books. I don't know anything about the story. I've not even looked up theories about characters or anything after the episode. I'm just going with the flow, and it reminds me of what it was like in the first season of Game of Thrones. I had no idea about anything that was going on. I just went with the flow, and it was only after season 2 that I went, fucking hell, I need to read these books. And this episode has done the exact same thing. I've gone, fucking hell, I need to read that book, because this is fucking incredible. So I'm not going to spend too much longer on it. This is much more of just a gushing review. But a good friend of mine, Mr. Nathan Smith, said this episode reminds him of the golden age of TV when everything was fucking perfect. We had fucking Mad Men selling, brilliance on screen through advertising. We had fucking Game of Thrones at the peak of its fucking power, Breaking Bad. We'd refer back to The Sopranos and compare them and say, fucking hell, everything's brilliant, everything's gorgeous. This is what it feels like. It feels like we're in the golden age of TV, except I turned around to him and said, well, clearly you've not been watching The Acolyte. But this is the thing. This is what I find superb. There is this level of storytelling out there. Nobody's cutting corners here. They're putting absolutely everything into making something so inch perfect and perfectly paced, perfectly weighted character drama that gives you that massive reward of what is a mind-boggling battle sequence. We see, it almost reminds you of like a classic monster movie, two massive titans fighting in the sky as these fucking ants are battling away on the ground, and they get crushed and destroyed and blown up by dragonfire. It's visually fucking spectacular, absolutely visually spectacular, but not at the cost of brilliant writing, brilliant storytelling. A fucking 10 out of 10 episode. I'm fucking in awe of this episode. Absolutely fucking in awe. And it's a shame that I can't really go into any deep dive and put some clips in this video. But like I said, it's a bit of an on-the-fly review because I'm very busy, unfortunately, in the early week, which is why I wanted to sort of do a series overall. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go through now until the end of the season and do episode by episode review. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, please do like and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate every single view on this channel. So by all means, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. What do you think about this episode? Where does it stack with you, especially in terms of Game of Thrones? Where does this land if you're looking at it as an overall? For me, I think it's top fucking 5 easily. So yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.